Yeah. Oh, constituent. No. Isn't that right?
What do you mean?
This is the person from the...
Yeah, that's,
Yeah, she's from the...
Lana, she's
yeah.
our operator.
Okay, the operator, right?
I thought she was the person asking a question.
Like, no.
Messages left, 28, 33, 35, 40.
Pick some people up.
People in conference, 1. It's us. Oh, 2.
You are on air.
Hi.
So we should be good to go.
Okay.
I'm getting people in the conference.
Right, so people are on the conference.
Okay.
They press 0 if they want to ask a question.
Okay. So then...
So how do they ask a question?
If they hit 0, bring them and then I'll put them onto the speaker page.
So should we just start talking?
Yeah. Well, can anyone hear yet?
No. We're...
No.
No, we should be okay.
Okay, you can start to talk.
It is us.
Hello, this is Naquita Ricks, candidate for CU Board of Regents. Thank you so much for joining our teleconference tonight. I am here ready to answer questions. The race has been very, very competitive. I'm running against a competitor out of Douglas County who was the former president of the Douglas County School Board. And for me, one of the biggest issues on the campaign trail that I've heard from families is affordability of college education and higher education in Colorado. So that is a big issue. I am a single mom who has a daughter who's a college freshman. So I understand families and what they're going through with paying for college and looking for that opportunity for their kids. So thanks again for joining me, and I am ready to take questions.
Hi, Naquita. My name's Mary, and I was wondering, I have a daughter who's a junior in college, and when she graduates, I'm really worried about how much she'll have in student loans and what that will cost. Does the CU Board of Regents have any control over student debt and student loans, and what can you do to make sure that our children aren't graduating and spending their entire lives saddled with this debt that's impossible to pay back?
Thank you for that question. That's a very great question. As I said before, on the campaign trail, that seems to be the number one issue, is affordability and accessibility of higher ed in Colorado. I also have a daughter who is a college freshman, and that is a big deal for families. Today, it's $30,000 per year to attend CU. At the end of 4 years, that's $120,000, and most kids seem to be on the 5-year plan, So at the end of 5 years, we're looking at $150,000, which is just outrageous. Our kids should not have to go to college and come out with huge debt that they will be saddled with for the rest of their lives. So as a regent, I want to be a strong voice advocating for more funding for higher education. Back in the 70s, CU received more than 60% of their budget from the state of Colorado. Today, CU receives only 5% of their budget from the state of Colorado. And higher education funding is 48th when we look nationally. So the state of Colorado needs to do a better job with funding higher education. I have a strong finance background, and as a regent, I will be looking at the organizational structure and the infrastructure of CU and the finances, making sure that CU is being as efficient as possible with the resources that they have, and that they are accountable to the taxpayers of Colorado. Along with that, we need to find alternative sources of funding for CU, such as maybe a severance tax increase. When we look at our neighbors, Wyoming and New Mexico, Colorado has some of the lowest severance taxes. And so a small bump in the severance taxes that could be earmarked for higher education would be a huge boon for Colorado families. We're seeing our best and brightest students leave Colorado because they're being offered better financial aid packages from other states. And I think that's a shame. That's a brain drain, and we should not have that going on here in Colorado. It's important that we keep our human resources and our great students here in Colorado. I also would like to see more public-private partnerships around higher education to get more funding into our college system. So affordability is an issue. I agree with that, and there's many things that I have planned to work on when I become the next CU regent for District 6. If you have a question out there, just push 0 and you will talk to one of our representatives who will put you in the queue for you to give us your question. Again, thank you for joining us. This is Naquita Ricks, candidate for the Board of Regents for CU from District 6. And District 6 is a very competitive district, is a large district with over 750,000 citizens. We run all the way from Thornton in the north, Brighton, North Aurora, all of Arapahoe County, including Centennial, Greenwood Village, Littleton, also Highlands Ranch in Douglas County, and parts of Parker. So welcome is a huge area, and I would love to hear your thoughts on higher education, affordability of higher education, and accessibility for Colorado families. Please push 0 now if you have a question, and you will be screened and put into the queue to give us your question.
All right, it looks like we have a question from Lisa in Aurora, and she's asking, I'm worried about when my students or my children go to college and become students, because there's a lot of issues surrounding campus safety that I've been hearing about lately. There's a lot of gun violence and violence against women. Is that an issue at CU, and what can the CU Regents do to fix it?
That's also another great question. CU recently had some issues with campus safety, where they were not addressing the safety of students on the level that they should be. So they were on a list. As a regent, I am concerned, as the next CU regent for District 6, I am very concerned about student safety. I have a daughter who is a college freshman, and I want her to be safe to enjoy college life and campus life. So one of the things I would do as a regent would be to implement training for incoming college freshmen to understand yes means yes and no, and the ramifications of drinking and all of the different things that could impact student life and the enjoyment and thriving of their fellow students. I would also implement better lighting and infrastructure on the campus to ensure that college students are able to move around freely and be safe in well-lighted areas. We also need to look at the effect of alcohol because that contributes to campus violence as well. So overall, a complete comprehensive plan around student life and student enjoyment of campus would be something that I would do as a regent from District 6.
It looks like we now have a call from Jean from Centennial. Jean, are you there?
Hello. I'm wondering, my son and his wife, they have two girls in school at CSU, and they both have to work 12 hours a day, 12 to 13 hours a day in sales just to keep the house going, and they're going to have a third girl going to college. And so expensive. It should be more affordable. I just see them every night coming in at 10 o'clock at night from 10 in the morning working. That's a long day, and half a day Saturday. So they're only off like half a day Sunday by the time they finish their errands. I think it's just terrible on these poor families trying to keep up today.
I agree, Jane. As a single parent, I understand how expensive college is, and if you have more than one student, I keep saying kids. If you have more than one child going to school, it gets very expensive. And on the campaign trail, as I've been knocking on doors in the neighborhood, I get that same question. I have an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. I don't know what the cost of college will be when they get ready to go to college. So it's a huge concern. And we have to look for alternative sources of funding for college here in Colorado. You know, the state of Colorado, when they fund higher ed, it lowers the cost of college for all of the universities, for CU, for CSU, for Metro State College, and that's what we have to advocate for. As a regent, I want to be that strong voice advocating for better funding for higher education because it's so important that students have access to an affordable education that will give them the training that they need to compete in the 21st century here in Colorado.
Right. Well, thank you very much. I hope you can help out when you're elected.
Yeah, please
Thank
tell
you very
people
much.
about the campaign. I appreciate you joining us tonight.
Okay. Thanks. Bye-bye.
All right, and it looks like our next question is from Gloria. Are you there?
Yes, I am, and I would like to know a little bit more about your background, why and what you feel that has prepared you for the role that you'd like to assume as regent. Could you kind of enlighten us a little bit about that, please?
Yes. Thank you so much, Gloria, for that question. You see, my story is about opportunity, Gloria. My family moved to Colorado back in 1980 after a bloody military coup in my native country, Liberia. I grew up in Aurora, Colorado, and attended Aurora Central High School and went to Metro State College to get my undergraduate degree in accounting. As a working professional, I went back to CU to get my MBA. I have over 18 years of experience in accounting and finance and also auditing and compliance areas. I've been a small business owner. I also have a daughter who is a college freshman right now. So my strength is in the finance area. I've worked on many boards where we've raised money for kids to go to college. More recently, I served on the Aurora Public School Education Foundation Board as a board that raises money for kids who are graduates of Aurora Public Schools. I've served as a treasurer for a small charter school out of Northeast Denver for at-risk youth, and we basically made sure that those kids were able to go through school and to graduate. So my passion is higher education. I want to see every Colorado child have access to a quality education here in Colorado that will allow them to compete in the 21st century economy. And it seems like that opportunity is slipping away because of the affordability, a lack of affordability and accessibility for Colorado families.
Good. I appreciate that, and thank you for enlightening me.
Thank you so much for calling in.
All right. It looks like our next question is from Karen in Aurora. Karen, are you there?
Yes, thank you for having me. I just want to ask you, are more women taking science classes or math classes, or are they just taking liberal arts just to get through college, and that's it? Are they getting associates in science or math, or?
Yes,
and
and
do they find
that's
jobs?
a great. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Are they getting jobs right after college?
Yeah, that's a great question about the STEM programs, the science, technology, engineering, and math programs. It's something that's really near and dear to my heart, actually. CU has a great program called Aurora Lights. It is a partnership between Aurora Public Schools and the CU Anschutz campus, and it allows students from the middle school level through the high school level to shadow doctors if they want to go into areas of science and medicine, or engineering, or any of those types of programs. And the statistics show that over 60% of the jobs in the next 10 years will be in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and math. So that's a great question about women, and are they participating in the sciences? I would say yes, that there are more women, but as a CU Regent, I'm going to encourage more reaching out to middle school kids at that level to expose them to science, technology, engineering, and math programs. I met a young lady, Francesca, who is she's 12 years old, and she's always wanted to be a doctor. And so she is participating in the Aurora Lights program, and she's already on her way. She's been shadowing the doctors at the Anschutz Medical Center. She's doing experiments with DNA, and so, we know that she's going to be a doctor. She was so excited about all the things that she's learning at such a young age. And so the more we can do that for our young girls and young men as well, it would be great to see them flourish in the areas of science, technology, engineering, and math. I want to see that program expanded into all parts of Colorado, Adams County schools, Cherry Creek schools, Douglas County schools, Denver schools. So that's a great question. Thank you for calling in tonight.
Thanks so much, Gloria. And now we have Aaron, who has a question for us. Aaron. Oh, hi.
Yeah.
Hey there.
Hey, I went to school a couple of weeks ago, and I went to school a couple of weeks ago because I learned a science class there and a social studies class there. And is there a possibility that I can get in that school?
Sure. Now, what are you a high schooler? What school do you go to?
I used to go to school, but I graduated, and now I'm going to go back to school. And I was wondering if I can take a science class there.
Okay. So you are looking to get into college? You're going to be a college freshman?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there's many paths into CU. CU is a great institution, and one of the programs that we have is we have an opportunity for any student coming out of any Colorado university with a GPA of 2.8 to be able to get into CU. So no matter where you start out, whether you at a community college or you at another public university or private university, you can always come into CU with a 2.8 GPA or better. So
Yeah.
that's an opportunity for you.
Okay.
And so basically I want to strengthen that program and continue to reach out to students just like yourself and encourage them to see you. We have many different campuses that you can go to. There's UCD, which is down in the downtown area, which is an urban campus. Also CU Boulder,
Yeah.
which is more of the traditional campus style. And you have University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, and then also the Anschutz Medical Center, where we have, if you do a science class or major, you can also start on a master's level program at Anschutz campus. Do you know what you want to do when you grow up?
I want to be like my sister. She is a efficient assistant, and I want to be learning how to become like her, but I'm not more like her.
Okay, well I think a physician assistant is a great job. That's an area within the science and medicine area, and I think you could benefit by doing the dual degree, which is taking an area of science and then moving over to the Anschutz Medical Center. So thank you so much for calling in tonight.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much, Erin. I think our next question is from Ted. Ted, are you there?
Yes.
Hi, Ted.
Hello.
Hi.
You want
This
my
is
question?
Naquita Ricks.
Yes. I'm retired, and my question is, what is your view of the role of what I consider to be professional athletics on a state university campus? University of Colorado Boulder has recently gone into the Pac-12 conference. I think that's way beyond the reach of what ought to be the major focus of education. I myself was a phys ed major in the Division III college athletic program. Changed my mind. I did not stay in the area of professional sports or university sports. I'm very concerned about the overemphasis on athletics on the state university campus. What is your opinion? I will be voting for you. I don't mind to say that.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your vote. And I think it's a great question. You see, I'm a mother of a college athlete. And so for that, I would say that athleticism and athletics has a place in a public university, not over the education and the academic pursuits of the students, but I think is definitely a complement to any public university to have great teams and college athlete teams. So I would say that has definitely a place. It enriches the experience of students, and it gives a diversity of learning, you know. So, but again, it should not take the place of high academic pursuit and excellence And every college athlete needs to earn their grades. They should not get any special treatment. But I would say definitely that the athletics on campus enriches the experience of every student on campus.
But Division I gives lots of scholarships just primarily for students who are athletes and not necessarily good students. Division III or Division II, Division III NCAA grants scholarships only on the basis of academics and not on the basis of athletic ability. Harvard and the Ivy League has that kind of attitude that if you can academically get a scholarship, fine, but not primarily for athletics. What do you think of that?
Well, scholarships sometimes are like the best pathways for certain students. They might have athletic giftings, and I know that CU also looks at the GPA of the students coming in. Division I is the highest competitive level that athletes can compete at, and I'm sure CU strives to be the best. When you look at some of the great public universities, like University of Michigan, University of Illinois, and Texas, they have high academic standards as well as competing in the best leagues. So I think CU is poised to be in that level, and I would like to see CU be in the top 10 of public universities. So yeah, so that would be my answer. I don't see anything wrong with Division I level of athletics.
I think it needs radical reform with all the ethical and corporate interests relationship to university campus. I think the Division I needs to be radically reformed.
I would agree with you there. I would agree. There needs to be ethics around it. Like I said, no student athlete should be getting by because they're the star of the team or anything like that. And I know that sort of thing does happen, but CU and all these different universities need to be vigilant to make sure that the athletes are also earning a degree, because they can only play for a length of time. And then at some time they need to step into the real world if they're not able to go into the pros and still be able to contribute to society. So earning that college degree, that's what I've encouraged my daughter. She wants to be a lawyer, and she has the brains and the athleticism. So, we're fortunate, and I encourage every college athlete out there to pursue the education as well as be the best in the sport that they're playing.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Ted. I just wanted to remind everyone on the line to press 0 if you have a question for Naquita. Looks like we have another one coming up. All right, I think next on the line we have Joyce. Are you there, Joyce?
Hello?
Hello, this is Joyce. How are you today?
Good, Joyce. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I do have a question. I wanted to know, you said you were considering pursuing public and private businesses for funding sources. Who are some of the public and private businesses you may think about or you're thinking about pursuing, and how can and I didn't ask this part before, but how can the community help you in this endeavor?
Well, one of the programs that I recently read about was Governor Hickenlooper is looking to see how they can get some matching from private corporations on monies that are being put up by the public. So it would be, for example, you have, so many millions of dollars in a scholarship fund, and we would ask private corporations to also match that money, and those monies will be allocated to students based on certain criteria that they might meet, whether it's GPA or whatever the standard might be. So I don't have any specific corporations, but I would say, why not some of the oil and gas, Anadarko and some of the big companies might be willing to match something that the state of Colorado is putting out there in order to create more opportunities for Colorado families.
Okay. And how can the community support you in this endeavor?
I would say first I would need to get elected, and by
of course.
Yes, spreading the word. And again, I want to be your strong voice advocating for more funding for public education and higher education. I am a product of that, and I strongly believe in it, and I know that it is one of the best paths of opportunity for living the American dream. So help me to get elected. Tell all your friends, tell all your family members, and people you know to vote for Naquita Ricks for CU Region District 6.
Okay, fair enough. Thank you.
All right, it looks like we have a question that just came in online that someone texted in. This is Jake from Centennial, and he asks, is the Anschutz Medical Campus under the jurisdiction of the CU Board of Regents? And if so, what do you plan to do about the campus?
The Anschutz Medical Center is part of the CU system, so it is under the jurisdiction of the CU Regents. Anschutz is a gem. It is an economic juggernaut for the state of Colorado. At Anschutz, there's over 26,000 jobs right there on the campus, and there are plans for the next 10 years to continue to grow that campus into a biotechnology city within the city. And so I strongly support all of the medical research, the biotechnology, the spin-off companies that have come out of Anschutz. I want to make sure that they have all the funding and ready for us to for us to continue to expand and grow Anschutz into the future. And by the way, CU, a little known fact about CU is that CU is the third largest employer in the state of Colorado. And the regions oversee a $3.4 billion budget. I have a strong finance background, and I know that I will be a plus on that board looking to make sure that CU is accountable to the stakeholders and the taxpayers of Colorado.
Thanks. And I just wanted to remind everyone again to press 0 if you have a question for Naquita, or you can text 202-577-4857. All right, it looks like we have a question from Dennis.
Naquita, what you running for?
I am running for the CU Board of Regents for District 6, and I'm on your ballot. Where do you live, Dennis?
I live in Aurora.
In Aurora, okay. Yes, the CU Board of Regents are the governing board for the University of Colorado system, and there's 4 campuses. Anschutz Medical Center. Are you familiar with Anschutz Medical Center?
Medical Center. That's
Anschutz Medical Center.
That's in Metro?
No, the Anschutz campus.
Oh, Anschutz, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the medical, yes. Yeah, I'm familiar with it.
Yes, so Anschutz is a part of the CU system. So is CU Boulder, CU and UCD. You know where Metro State College is. UCD is right down on the Aurora campus.
Yeah, I went to school at UCD.
Oh, did you? Okay, yes. I went to Metro, and that's where I got my undergraduate degree from in accounting. And then I also went to CU to get my master's in business administration. So that's what I'm running for, is the CU Board of Regents, District 6.
District 6.
Yes.
It's going to be on the ballot, right?
Yes, I'm on your ballot. So make sure you look for my name, Naquita Ricks.
Yeah, Naquita.
Yeah, Naquita Ricks, running for the Board of Regents.
Yeah, Naquita.
Yes, tell all your friends and family.
Yes, I will.
Thank you so much, Dennis, for calling in.
No problem.
All right, I think we have our next question from Barbara in Aurora. Barbara, are you there?
Yes, I am. My name is Barbara. I'm calling from Aurora, Laquita, and I think your qualifications are very impressive. And I wanted to ask you if CU has a code of conduct for the students and whether the athletes are required to comply with that same code of conduct. In view of what's been happening in the NFL, I think it's very important that all of the athletes are required to comply with the same code of conduct. And we know that CU did have some problems with the football team a few years ago, and we certainly don't want that to happen again.
Yes, thank you so much. That's a great question because all students should comply with the code of conduct at CU, and that is a very important thing. I have not heard of any specific violations, but I know that the coaches and all the administrative staff are heavily involved in making sure that all students are complying, with the code of conduct, which includes honesty and integrity and all of these great things that we want our students to learn and model as students at CU.
All right.
And
well,
how to
thank
treat other students, including the females on the campus.
Yes. And are you saying are the females complying with the rules or?
No, I'm saying that when alcohol becomes an issue in the mix, there's sometimes some violations of the code of conduct.
Yeah, you're right about that. I mean, student safety is very, very important on college campuses, and
yes,
alcohol and abuse of alcohol can contribute to violence that should not be there for, that can impact the safety of our students. So as a regent, I want to make sure that we're taking every caution to ensure that the effect of alcohol does not contribute to campus violence.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I just wanted to remind everyone, if you want to ask Naquita a question, just press 0 on your phone, or you can text questions to 202-577-4857. And I got another text, and someone asked, why does this race matter to me?
Well, this race should matter to all of Colorado families. You see, the CU Regents is a little-known position, but the CU Regents are the governing board for the CU systems, which is the 4 campuses. CU is the 3rd largest employer in the state of Colorado. CU is Colorado's crown jewel, the flagship university. And whatever happens at CU sets the pace for what will happen in higher education. So CU is training all of our workforce of tomorrow. As the baby boomers are retiring, we need to have a highly educated workforce that will be ready to take the positions that where these baby boomers are retiring from. And the more people we can add to the workforce, the better and stronger Colorado economy will be. We can also attract more corporations to locate their businesses here in Colorado if we have a strong, highly educated workforce. So it is important that we're not only receiving and getting a lot of transplants into Colorado, but that Colorado families, Colorado students are being groomed to take these jobs. I am so strongly committed to seeing that every Colorado child have access to an affordable education that is quality, that will allow them to compete in the 21st century economy. That is so important. So we have to make sure that Colorado families have access and to affordable quality education. And I need your vote. I'm asking for your vote tonight to ensure that that happens. So if you have any questions for me, press 0 now to ask your question. I appreciate everyone's participation tonight, and very good questions. There's a lot of interest in this race. The ballots just came out yesterday. I know I got my ballot. And so if you have your ballots, make sure to look for Nikita Ricks for CU Regent. And we're telling everyone this election is so important. You do not want to sit out on this election because everything that happens every election season impacts your life. So we're asking you to vote all the way up the ballot. Vote for everyone that you know shares your values and will contribute to Colorado and make it the great state that it is. So I'm encouraging you to do that.
All right, we have time for one more question, and it looks like that question is going to come from Jennifer. Jennifer, are you there, Highlands Ranch?
Yes, I am. Hi, thank you.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, my question is, I wanted to understand a little bit about how you think you are different from the other candidate, John Carson. I have a child in the Douglas County School District, and I have a lot of concerns with him. So I know I will not be voting for him, but I want to know what distinguishes you from him to make sure I should be voting for you.
Well, yeah, thank you so much for asking that question. For one thing, I do support strongly public education. I am not looking to privatize public education. It is the path of opportunities. And your concern about your kids in Douglas County School are shared by many of your neighbors. In my knocking doors in Highlands Ranch, I got a lot of that. A lot of parents are so frustrated and have pulled their kids out of Douglas County schools and are sending their kids to Littleton Public Schools. So that is a frustration. I support diversity on campus. I've heard my opponent talk about, conservatism versus liberalism. I don't know that you dictate to people how they should think, but I definitely want to see a diverse student body that empowers every kid to be the best that they can and to get the exposure that they need to a global economy and to the global world, because that's where we are. I want to see expansion of science, technology, engineering, and math programs. I want to see Colorado families send their kids to college and not have to be straddled with lots and lots of debt. And so we need to, I plan on being that strong voice, advocating for more funding for higher education. I believe in transparency and that the regions should be transparent and that we should interact with the staff, the administrative staff, the students, and the community, because these are all our constituents and these are all stakeholders. So I plan to be very visible as a CU regent, and so that people have access to me. I come from a strong finance background that enables me to look at the budget and to look at organizational structures and determine whether they're efficient or not. And I'm sure that there are some efficiencies that we can find at CU so that we can control our costs, control the cost better. And along with that, being a strong advocate looking for private and public funding and alternative sources of funding for college and to make it affordable for Colorado families.
Okay, that's really great to hear, because I have scrutinized the Douglas County District's finances over the last 4 or 5 years when he was president, and I do not feel that was they've been financially transparent or responsible. So I really appreciate your financial background.
Thank you so much, and I do appreciate your vote. Please tell your neighbors in Douglas County that I am a supporter of public education, and I would love to, have your vote and be that person fighting for our values to make sure that all of our kids here in Colorado have the access and affordability they need to succeed in college.
Okay, great. I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. It looks like our time is up, but we appreciate everyone joining.
Thank you so much again. This is Naquita Ricks. Thank you for joining me. I may have interrupted your dinner, but I appreciate your interest in the CU Regent race. If you have any questions, you can reach me at 720-477-0583. Please go to my website, www.ricksforregent.com. I'm also on Facebook. You can like my Facebook page and share information about this race. It's such an important race that will impact Colorado families for years to come. You see, the next region board will be selecting the president of CU and also some of the chancellors. And so it's very important. I have great vision for CU. I see CU being one of the top 10 public universities on par with University of Illinois, University of Michigan, University of Texas. So it's important that we take CU to the next level and make sure that it continues to be that crown jewel, continues to put out all of the spin-off companies and the medical research at Anschutz campus, and continue to look like Colorado, improving diversity around all of CU campuses. So thanks again for joining me tonight. If you have any questions, you can reach me on my website again, www.ricksforregent.com. Good night.